The New Mexico community gathering in solidarity at the Albuquerque Center for Peace and Justice today to mourn the death of Tyree Nichols. Here's reporter Faith Abuanu.
I promise you that Tyree would rather we not know his name.
Anger, pain.
I promise you that Tyree would have rather raised his son, and he deserved to grow old.
Frustration.
We cannot continue to thrive in a system that was built on slavery and racism and injustices. It must be dismantled.
Not a single dry eye in sight today. The death of Tyree Nichols sparking outrage nationwide. And here at home.
The public lynching. Did y'all hear what I just said? The public lynching of Tyree is unjust.
Our democracy breaks down when we stop treating every human with respect, especially those in marginalized communities. Whoever you are, for whatever your walk of life, respect all of those around you.
The New Mexico community, heartbroken.
Say his name.
Tyree Nichols. A father, son, brother whose life was tragically cut short at the hands of 5 Memphis police officers.
Bro, lay down.
I'm just trying to go home.
His last words.
Mom!
Echoed in agony.
But for me to find out that my son was calling my name.
Just blocks away from his home during a traffic stop. Now the fight for justice is on.
If someone is getting brutalized in the streets, it's up to us to do something about it. Why do we have to wait for the police to come and save us?
As community activists call to end police brutality.
No more deaths at the hands of police. We demand action. And so to the family of Tyree Nichols, we mourn with you and we are sorry. We grieve alongside you.
Holding state lawmakers accountable in hopes of change.
We need to reach out to our legislators. You need to email. You need to call and ask, what are you doing to keep New Mexicans safe from police in this state? You hear me?
Faith Abuanu, KOAT, Action 7 News.
Faith, thank you. Albuquerque Mayor Tim Keller says in part, this tragedy is a terrible reminder that there is still work to do to keep people safe and build systems that serve and protect everyone. We, of course, will continue to update you on air and online on the aftermath of this video.
Hi, good morning. Welcome to That Saturday Show. I'm your host, Tom Dent. That report you just saw was broadcast on all 3 local major media stations last Saturday, and some of our allies were speaking there. Tony Johnson, Lisa Christopherson, Arthur Bell, Barbara Jordan, speaking in front of our mural dedicated to Breonna Taylor and L'Oreal Tasinghe, both who had their lives prematurely ended by the police. This is a special abbreviated episode of That Saturday Show for our Facebook friends only. It feels like such a downer. You know, unless you've been living under a rock, you're not aware of the murder that took place of Tyree Nichols in Memphis by 5 police officers, directly 5 police officers. There were people standing around at different points. There were other police officers that failed to do anything. There was EMTs that showed up and failed to act immediately. And I'm going to go into this. This is going to be my commentary, not necessarily the view of the Albuquerque Center for Peace and Justice. And it's going to be mixed in with some quotes locally from media sources. So Tyree Nichols was directly killed by 5 Memphis police officers, all part of a special unit called the Scorpio Unit. And they were fired immediately after the chief and the mayor saw the video. And before they saw the video, the officers lied directly to them. They lied directly to their supervisors. And that was the original basis for them being fired. But as we see more and more reports and more and more horrible actions or horrible inactions took place, Tyree was a sober, unarmed young father on his lunch break from working at FedEx. He was pulled out of a car. They originally told their supervisors and his mother that he was suspected of DUI and reckless driving. They pulled him out of the car. They tased him. They pepper sprayed him. They almost kicked and beat him to death, not once but twice after he got up and ran away. And he was beaten again almost to the point of death, right a block away from his mother's house. And he probably ran away because he thought that they were going to kill him because he was black, even though the five officers involved were black. I just heard a rumor lately, and I never heard this before, that somebody said that Tyree may have been having relationships with one of the officers' ex-girlfriends or ex-wives, but that's just conjecture at this point. The first responders were there. They were fired and implicated from not stopping the beating or rendering aid in time. And it's interesting that the white officers and white responders were charged with somewhat lesser offenses and sent home, and there's definite privilege in action there. Like George Floyd and Eric Gardner, he was not rendered first aid or aid during precious seconds that could have saved his life. Donnell Harvin is a Homeland Security and public health expert with over 30 years of EMS forensics and law enforcement experience. He wrote in Politico, first, both national EMS and Tennessee EMS protocols prescribe the application of supplemental oxygen as the first treatment for head trauma. Is the simplest and most critical step to providing aid and does not require changing the position of the patient or removing any restraints like handcuffs. When faced with significant head trauma, blood flow to the brain becomes severely restricted and begins to swell the brain. Untreated, the condition worsens until the brain is starved of precious oxygen, leading to cerebral hypoxia or oxygen deprivation to the brain. So, protests all over the country. Let's see what happens from here out. And now I'm going to sort of abruptly change the narrative. Let me talk about sort of similar bills that are happening in the New Mexico 60-day legislative session that's happening right now and being introduced as we speak. Lawmakers in the current New Mexico legislative session are pushing a bill that would change how officers use physical force. It's called Senate Bill 252, and it's been called the Law Enforcement Officer Procedures Act. It's named at holding officers and departments accountable and building safe standards for interaction. And like the other bills that we've talked about before, we gave you the hotline number and nmlegis.gov that you can look at to track these bills. Please call those numbers, call your state senator and rep, support that bill. Again, it's Senate Bill 252. So this bill would create a standard for law enforcement throughout New Mexico, changing how officers handle situations before they end up deadly. Senator Howard Pope Jr. says that the use of force policies that are trying to get rid of are techniques that have already seen complaints, like chokeholds and any other tactic used to block an airwave. Pope Jr. says he would also like to see officers in the field hold their team accountable. Pope is also introducing Senate Bill 34 to deter legislatures for drinking before meetings and committee meetings and expecting better behavior for them up there. There's a bill, we've had Ava and some other people on the show before talking about Senate Bill 64. It's called the Second Chance Bill. This is a bill that would end life without parole as a sentencing option for children, and in most circumstances provide eligibility for parole after someone serves 15 years in prison for a crime that they committed when they were under the age of 18. And that report is from our friend Austin Fisher from Source, New Mexico. If you are not aware of Source, New Mexico, the editor is Marissa DeMarco, who used to be the editor of New Mexico Compass and anchor on KUNM. Check out their website, subscribe. It's very, very good local reporting. That's Source NM. And there's another bill called Senate Bill 99, and we've had other people come on the show. We've had T-Bex Hampton, a couple of other people come on the show to talk about rent control in New Mexico. And Senate Bill 99 would allow rent control. And actually, last Thursday, just a couple of days ago, it was introduced in the Senate Health and Public Affairs Committee, so definitely look up nmlegis.gov and follow that bill and the other bills there. In this abbreviated edition, we're going to hear a couple of songs. I'm going to be back a little bit later on to talk a little bit more about police brutality and what's happening here in New Mexico on that. So the song that's coming up after I sign off right here, I'm going to throw it to Adam Griego, and he's going to be doing a song called, hold on a second. It's called The Weight of Life, and he and the guy that we're going to be showing music for at the end of the show, Bellowing Bear, were both found by our music director, Matt John, at open mics at different establishments and breweries around Albuquerque. So here's Adam Griego.
I feel the weight of life. I feel the weight of life. And one day I'll be gone. And one day I'll be free. I will walk through walls. I will walk the streets of gold. The river of life, it will flow. One day I'll be gone. And one day I'll be free. I will walk through walls. I will eat from the tree. The leaves will heal the nations. And one day I'll be gone. And one day I'm going to leave. I will walk through walls. I will see you
right, just to finish my rant about what happened in Memphis and specialized units, the five cops that were fired immediately were part of a specialized community engagement unit called Scorpio. And these specialized police units like Scorpio in Memphis, they must be supervised on a regular basis with frequent training, retraining, as well as frequent psychological evaluation, or they need to be disbanded. There are units like Scorpio all over the country, and a similar unit in Atlanta was recently disbanded. Poorly supervised, they basically feel autonomous, like their own gang and answerable to themselves, and that mentality has got to stop. That's what led to what happened to Tyree. We had one here in Albuquerque back in the late 90s and early double aughts called the Repeat Offenders Unit, that two of the officers, Dominic Perez and Keith Sandy, were part of that unit that executed James Boyd in the foothills on March 18th, 2014. And that unit was disbanded very quickly after James Boyd's execution. Keith Sandy originally was almost fired by the New Mexico State Police Department after he talked back to his superiors and other violations, but somehow he got transferred to APD on the basis that he only stayed behind a desk. Obviously, that never happened. Their court case was declared a mistrial, and they just happened to be defended by Sam Bregman, who is now our temporarily appointed Bernalillo County District Attorney, and I just found out that he's the one of the highest paid government officials in Bernalillo County right now. Perez has since been promoted within APD, and at last check, Keith Sandy now sells real estate in the East Mountains. We seriously need to reach a point where qualified immunity really is done away with, and that the unjustified police murders send the officers involved to prison for a very long time. This one of the reasons this is an abbreviated episode is that our main guest can't make it this week, but they will hopefully be here next week. That's either Jay Wilson or Jessica with Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Central New Mexico. Our other guest was Josh Orr, who's been running the Peace Cafe at the Albuquerque Center for Peace and Justice for close to a year now, and he's excited to come here and talk about that. And he was scheduled for this week, but we'll see him next week. And speaking of the Peace Cafe, like I say every week, don't forget to come to the Peace Cafe that's held every Thursday from 10 until 3 at the Peace Center at 202 Harvard Southeast with homemade organic food, great jam sessions, great discussions. Meet activists there, find out what goes on at the Peace Center. Volunteer, donate to the Peace Center. Go to abqpeaceandjustice.org. Donate to us there, see what we're up to, see what our events are, and check us out. What you're going to see next, you're going to see 9 minutes of Bellowing Bear at the High and Dry Brewery, starting off with the single song that we slated for the longer episode. It's called Heartbreak, but we're going to end the show by letting you see all 9 minutes of his performance in High and Dry. So we'll see you next week on the Saturday show.
All right. Yeah, he brought the tree. About
Halloween bear, get up here. He's right here. So I have a very important question for you. What is your favorite animal? Oh, a cat. Meow.
But I don't have any cats because I'm paying
Pets. Who's a cat lover? Raise your hand.
Yeah.
Sick. All right, well, we're super stoked to hear you. Woo!
Thank you.
Good luck, sir.
All right. Yeah, he brought the tree.
Thank y'all. I love y'all all. This next song is a sad one. It's okay to cry. It's about a baby duck. We got a Ted kind of stewed tomato. Seeing that line down the road, broken hearts in your brain, tied and twisted in 'cause it's down to my luck. I don't know, no, about my girl. I don't know where we went wrong. I can see it all. Been too deep, too lost to see. Well, I ain't sleep at all. Yeah, I'm down. As I lay my weary head to sleep, now praise the Lord, my soul to keep. If I should die before I wake, now praise the Lord, my soul to take. Yeah, I don't know where we went wrong. I cannot see or sleep at all. And hell surrounds me. Oh, I'm down on my luck, down on my knees. Oh, Lord have mercy. Yeah.
Okay, I'm starting to see why they call you Bellowing Bear. Wow. Damn, that's a powerful voice right there. Amazing. Amazing. Let's hear from our judges. Willa, would you like to do yours? Yes. All right. Pen down.
Woo! That was a roller coaster. That was good, yeah. Definitely putting the bellowing there. We'll say that.
Very nice. Short and sweet. Love it. All right. Austin Powers, what do you have to say?
Very nice. I thought it was kind of like riding the wave of the guy before. And with that said, I loved it. I loved it.
There we go. Hey, who the hell are we? Oh, yeah. That's a great...
Until the next time, it's time to say goodbye. When you out here in the streets, keep it real, 505. We love everybody, we just want to let you know. Thanks for tuning in to that Saturday show.